YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another collective energy read. I hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time of your day. Remember to take what resonates. Please leave the rest behind. Let's go and get started. Appreciate your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Angels of the highest to white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages for what my collective needs to hear in accommodation to my general one plans. Thank you, and Ashe. Whoever I'm tapping into, a lot of you guys have ancient or a spiritual team of ancient beings. It's going to be one of those ancestors messages. But a lot of you guys got those spiritual teams or, beings that are a little primordial or old or what you would call ancient that are watching over you that do not play about you, right? And so a lot of times people learn this the hard way in a way that they forsake certain things or they may misperceive or may not want to see or perceive certain protections around you in regards to maybe behaviors or actions or intentions that they may have hidden behind you, right? And so a lot of you guys may be, almost like I'm channeling like aloof to certain intentions beyond or behind you, right? And so a lot of times people understand this or use this. A lot of times you guys are my pure ones. A lot of you guys are in some type of state to where you're moving towards a higher trajectory in terms of the alignment or vibration. And sometimes, as you guys know, these things can be looked at as weakness. These things can be looked at as an open gate to seek through, right? A lot of times these things can be looked at as something to fuck over or to try to take advantage of or to try to betray, right? A lot of times you guys portray some type of purity to outwardly to people, or you have this sense of gleaming light about you that people do not think that there's an equal and opposite dark or shadow, right? And so a lot of times people are not awaiting or anticipating, anticipating what's behind you in certain circumstances to where, let's say, a lot of you guys go through occult things, a lot of you guys go through spiritual work, a lot of you guys go through certain engagements to where people try to sacrifice your life. A lot of you guys go through certain engagements to where people think they can play with your life. And so a lot of times these situations get turned up to another level in terms of in the spiritual realm to somebody that's watching over you. And so a lot of times these things can be very surprising, very awakening is kind of the word, for lack of better words, for other people that are not foreseeing what is sitting behind you. A lot of times you guys have cloakings. A lot of times these cloakings are not really so purposeful, but a cloaking can show up as you being so positive and you being, let's say, in this field, or you being a doctor and somebody's looking at you like they can rob you, right? And you got some type of crazy spiritual team that is already on that, right? In a certain spiritual way or some kind of conduct. It's almost like the equivalent of some type of hidden in plain sight theme in regards to whether that's metaphysically, whether that's emotionally, whether that's spiritually, whether that's physically. There's something that can present itself as one way, but somebody may not be understanding or anticipating the opposite way, if that makes sense. Everything has a duality, everything has a balance. And so with this message, it's some type of validation to a lot of you in regards to the shadow theme of what goes on in the spirit realm when you're on this type of journey, right? A lot of you guys are on this journey in a way that you've dealt with so much resistance, what we call resistance, because I don't really go into it unless I have these type of messages. But those resistances could be people that think they can control your life or hurt you or do anything they want to you. And so a lot of times you guys have spiritual teams or agents around you that are literally ready and anticipating those things. Basically seeing through your eyes, seeing past you, seeing around you, seeing behind you in a way that somebody's not anticipating. And so what happens with these types of things is that somebody gets usually caught in their own web of whatever that is. It could be lies, it could be intentions, it could be actual actions sent towards you, it could be actual attempts sent towards you. And a lot of times people are not anticipating how that reflects and comes back. A lot of you guys have ancestors that are some beings that we read about in history books, right? Some of you guys have ancestries that you kind of can call on and something can get done really quick. A lot of you guys have ancestries that come from a stemmed origin from maybe something you walked in before. Sometimes it could be that being in terms of you inheriting a being that walked some type of path before that could be similar to yours. What I'm saying is a lot of times people are not ready for these types of cloaks because they look at you or they perceive you or may perceive something you do or an industry you're in or some type of field you're in as some type of ploy or some type of open gate to do whatever the fuck they want. And so a lot of times these things can kind of catch somebody off guard that is a little bit entitled to their behavior or, kind of, let's say, scheming intentions, right? Whether that shows up in a general way, let's say physically, spiritually, emotionally, whatever that is. A lot of you guys have spiritual teams that are ready to combat these agendas and these things at any time. We're in a day and age where a lot of truth is being illuminated to the light and a lot of things are going to be shown to a lot of people. And a lot of you guys that I'm tapped into, 606, are ready and built for these things in terms of built for these situations, built for the conduct of what you need to protect yourself from, right? And so a lot of times you guys are equipped with spiritual teams or certain, weaponries, right? Whether that's your gifts, whether it's your abilities, your sight, provisions, whatever that is, in a certain way that can combat, the schemes of what's, become very normal in this world, right? A lot of you guys understand, especially in Western culture, a lot of you guys understand how the system works. A lot of you guys understand how you rise in this system. A lot of you guys understand how this system really equates to a certain level of narcissistic intention or a capitalistic gain that puts the selfish intentions of one over the, let's say, holistic imagery of, or a holistic depiction of it all, right? A lot of you guys understand and move away from these conducts, right? And a lot of times you attract people that are of that conduct, right? And a lot of people are not anticipating what's behind you, right? And so this is one of those quick messages in a certain way that, my ancestors' messages are usually really quick, really kind of direct, right? In a certain way that, people understand and often regret coming for you when they're not foreseeing what's behind you. They often regret how they kind of looked at you in a certain way, and it can also awaken someone to the duality within themselves or a depths within themselves that they may not have foreseen before, right? Because a lot of times people underestimate you guys. A lot of times people underestimate maybe how you can see them, feel them, hear them, or what's behind you doing these things. And so a lot of times it ends off in a way that often leaves people in a regretful manner or a regretful state of being to where they have to reflect upon themselves, right? And sometimes a lot of you guys got savage ancestors. A lot of you guys got savages behind you in terms of those that walked your path before or walked something similar before. And they're not here to play about you. And that message is often clear. 818, as I was saying that message is often clear. A lot of you guys work with beings and work in in realms to where that you're very aware of something and you can't always, be able to, let's say, illuminate necessarily the energetic correspondence to this information or what you are, right? A lot of you guys are hidden ancient, reincarnations of certain beings. And you can't really necessarily speak on that. You understand spiritual law. A lot of you guys understand a lot of concepts of the spiritual conduct. If you're understanding this day and age, the spirituality is what's ruling this whole world, right? Everything, the veil has been lifted a while ago. And so we're moving in a conduct that a lot of these things are appropriate to validate and to understand and to be aware of so that you're not feeling bad for how things are being handled in regards to people that are trying to fuck you over, right? And so there's an understanding and an understanding that a lot of you have within yourselves that you may not always get validated for. You may get scapegoat for. You may get looked at as a villain for. You may get, gaslit for because of somebody else's intentions backfiring on themselves. And I'm gonna end off with that one. If you need a personal with me, hit up Shamika-san with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. Besides that, I have 3 partnerships available for 20% off of either or. Otter Spirit, Rose Forever New York, and Amazon Web Services. If you're interested in 20% off of either or, I'm gonna sign off with this one. Appreciate your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. But peace out, y'all. It's your boy Jess.